Not only have I dated an avoidant man, but I married one. When I first met my husband, I didn't know anything about attachment styles at all. It was, in fact, only after once we were married that I learned what avoidant attachment even was, and that I even discovered my own anxious tendencies. After that, a whole lot of things started making so much more sense in our relationship. So if you suspect that your partner might have an avoidant attachment style, stick around. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what avoidant attachment really is, how to stop losing yourself in the process, and then I'm going to tell you what actually helps these relationships thrive if they were meant to. Hey gorgeous, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'd love for you to subscribe and stick around. Mireille Nicole here, a relationship coach, and I'm all about guiding you towards your happily ever after and helping you tackle the tough stuff in love with grace and wisdom. So let's start with what avoidant attachment actually means. If you haven't read the book Attached yet, it's a great introduction to this whole topic, but I like to simplify it. To me, secure attachment means this. I believe I'm going to be okay no matter what happens in my relationship. So if you're secure, you don't freak out when you get ghosted. You don't panic if someone pulls away for a little bit. You can express what's on your mind without walking on eggshells or trying to read their mood first. Because deep down, you trust that you'll be okay. But when you're either anxious or avoidant, you don't believe you're going to be okay. It's the flip side. You believe you're going to lose something. It's actually two sides of the same coin, in my opinion. You're either afraid the relationship is going to end and that you'll lose that intimacy that you crave, that's anxious attachment, or that you'll be trapped in the relationship and lose your independence. So that's avoidant attachment. In both cases, you're reacting to protect yourself or out of fear. Now, today we're going to focus on avoidant attachment, specifically avoidant men. And avoidant men associate intimacy with a loss of freedom, and so they try to minimize closeness when they feel threatened. There are three common traits that avoidant men tend to show. Number one, the need for space. Avoidant men often crave independence. They value their autonomy, and while they do want connection, they do want love, there's like a threshold. And if they get too close, they instinctively pull away to protect their sense of self. Number two, they struggle with emotional vulnerability. They tend not to open up as easily and often seem unbothered by emotional distance. And that's actually them trying to keep you at arm's length. They're not worrying about the relationship the same way you are if you're anxious, and that can be incredibly triggering. Number three, the fear of dependence. So this one shows up in a really subtle way. I know that my husband still struggles here, whether it's about sharing our finances, routines, or even something as small as maintaining our mountain bikes. I can tell he feels uneasy if I seem to start relying on him too much. And we've been together over 10 years now. The avoidant man is on high alert for any sign of control or impingement on his freedom. Now, here's where it gets tricky though. Avoidant men are capable of love. Like I said earlier, they do crave that closeness and that intimacy, but they relate to it differently. And for many anxious women, and I know that was me, that difference can be really unsettling and uncomfortable or scary and even painful. So let's talk about how not to lose yourself in this dynamic, because I see that happening a lot, and I went through years of that myself. How do you not drive yourself crazy in a relationship where you start feeling anxious and he just pushes you away? When I was at the low point in my relationship with my husband, then boyfriend actually, I literally felt like I was going crazy, and this was being reflected in how I was showing up in the relationship. I didn't feel like myself anymore, and I certainly wasn't the woman my man had fallen in love with in the first place. And because of that, the spark between us was definitely fizzing out. But here's where most women go wrong in dating an avoidant man, and I made all of these mistakes myself. Here are some of the common mistakes that you're going to want to avoid if this is you, if you can relate. Number one, over pursuing him to try to prove your worth. You maybe send another text, you try to fix things, you try to make him feel safe so he'll stop pulling away. But this actually just activates more avoidance in him. Number two, interpreting his distance as rejection. It's easy to think that, he doesn't love me when he pulls away. But often this is just his attachment system doing what it's always done, right? Trying to protect him from the overwhelm of closeness. Or he could just need some time and space to handle his stress, and you're taking it personally. Number 3, making excuses and self-abandoning. You tell yourself, he's really busy or he's going through a lot. And you know what? Maybe he is. But the trap is when you start to ignore your own needs. Maybe you're not taking as good care of yourself anymore. You're not going out with your girlfriends, and too much of your brain space is dedicated on trying to understand what's going on with him. When is he going to come back into your life? You might even convince yourself that you're being too much just for having these feelings, but you are not. Number 4, you're having emotional outbursts or ultimatums. So you wait until the pressure builds and then explode because he never seems to get it. But this only actually confirms his fear that intimacy equals chaos. I talk a lot on this channel about emotional detachment and emotional leadership for that exact reason. You might think you're being emotionally intelligent for being cool for a while, but if later you blow up, you were only covering up, your feelings and white knuckling your emotions, hoping he'd snap out of it before you did, but obviously, you did first. Now let's get to the good stuff. Here's what actually works and changed my own relationship. So what I was just talking about segues into number 1 here, which is all about emotional detachment. And just for the record, it's not cold. It's not being indifferent. Emotional detachment is actually about groundedness. It's about being present in the moment, being mindful. The goal is to be detached enough in a healthy way and not a reactive way. So sure, you can be upset or worried when your avoidant man seems to be pulling away. That's natural, that's appropriate, but don't let that dictate your actions without being very intentional about what you do. It's appropriate to feel upset. It's appropriate to feel worried. Those are valid feelings. Yes, feel them. But the key here is to learn to respond, and responding requires being very deliberate. Words are just so important, and the way that you say them. All right, number 2, start being secure in yourself to be secure in the relationship. Like I said earlier, again, being secure is just simply knowing that you're going to be okay. And you get there by setting small goals for yourself. So just tell yourself, the next time you don't hear back from him right away, you're not going to spiral. You're going to go out for a walk instead, and you're going to practice mindfulness, and then you're going to celebrate yourself. Number 3, start respecting his space without punishing him. I'm a huge believer in the man cave. I have tons of videos on that, whether it's literal or figurative. Let him take space to work through his stuff. Give him room to come back to you afterwards. When you stop chasing, you create safety. And that safety actually invites deeper conversation and deeper connection. And it also reduces his avoidant tendency, or just, reveals his true nature. And then you can make a powerful decision about the future of your relationship based on that. Now, if you're suspecting that he's leaving for periods and bouts of time because, he's pursuing another relationship or he's engaging in some sort of bad behavior, now that's going to be different, right? Listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, but also create that space so that you can objectively see what's going on. And that leads me to the last 2 points. So number 4, make room for conversations without pressure. When you let your avoidant partner decide when to open up or very gently inquire into what's going on, you significantly increase your chances of him opening up to you and letting down his guard. I had a client I worked with a few years ago, and she would just probe and ask her husband a million questions, and he would just shut down and avoid those deep conversations with her. But when she stopped prying and trying to get the answers all the time, he started initiating those long conversations, just like she had always wanted. Now, obviously, there is more to it, and we worked on other aspects of the relationship, but it was an important piece of the puzzle to just create that space for conversations and removing that pressure. And last one, number 5, build emotional safety over time. Just remember that it takes a while for this emotional safety to be built. It's built over time and through trust. And the more secure and safe that he feels with you, not judged, not trapped, the less avoidant he'll become. I experienced this firsthand with my husband when we got out of our rock bottom phase in our relationship and back into the honeymoon phase, or better than the honeymoon phase, I like to say. What he said shifted the most was that he could more easily share his emotions with me, and that our emotional connection was stronger together and we weren't taking things so personally. So this stuff works. It might take a little bit of time. It might take practice, but stick with it. Now, obviously, I always say there are buttholes out there that no matter what you do, it's not just going to work. And here are a few ways that you can, here are some indicators, I should say, to help you determine when to stay and maybe when you might want to consider walking away. Because I am by no means suggesting that you should ever settle or tolerate bad behavior that doesn't get better when consistently using effective relationship skills. And notice how I said that very intentionally. Let me emphasize that part. Bad behavior that doesn't get better when consistently using effective relationship skills. Like I said, it takes time. So here are the three that I believe are most important for you to look at. And number one, it's not cut and dry. It's really about using your intuition. So what does your intuition say to you? What does your heart is your heart really into it? What's your heart saying, right? And this can be really hard to discern when you're stuck in your head, but when you really feel down deep into your body, the answer should be there for you. Number two, if you see progress and signs of growth in your relationship, when you practice and show up and do the communication skills effectively, right? Again, I'm going back to this whole consistency and doing effective relationship skills. I see amazing results within 4 weeks of working with women all the time. It doesn't have to take forever, but give it a good go. I've heard other relationship coaches say even 3 months. Give it 3 months to see how things go. And I think that's also a fair and reasonable timeline. And number three, just, don't settle, or maybe it's time to move on and find a different attachment style partner if you can't accept it, if you just can't, deal with it at all, because relationships are all about acceptance. When you're picking a partner, you're essentially picking a set of problems that you're willing to love around and grow with. And if you can't accept that he tends to be more avoidant when conflict arises or when he gets stressed out, then it might be better to move on. Now, if this video hits home for you, I encourage you to download my free emotional detachment cheat sheet. It'll walk you through how to stop overfunctioning, how to regain your sense of power in your relationship, and show up securely, no matter who you're dating. I'll put the link in the description below. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever dated someone avoidant? Are you dating someone avoidant or married to one like me? What was the hardest part for you? Thank you so much for watching, and watch this video next.